Is that mean? I'm sorry. Anyways, TLDR, guys, we're moving on from yesterday. Getting into game number 2 here in the Ting Open. He's up 1 point, currently in the bottom left side of Dusk Towers. It's going to be the Green Zerg, My Insanity's PengWin.
In the top right, as the orange Terran, he is Redhorn.
So, PengWin overcoming his Terranophobia. I like it. What I didn't like, just to be critical for a moment, I really feel like what he did was very clunky. His choice and strategy was not super crazy, but like if you go crazy enough, it can sometimes let you win no matter what you do. I feel like if he had lost that Overlord with the Queens in it, that would have been a terrible game for him.
Yeah. I think that Redhorn actually did have a couple opportunities to win the game.
Yep.
Well, okay, not win the game necessarily, but not die to that push. You know, because what would happen afterward? You had a person who had 1 base versus 2 base, and actually Zerg can mac her out of that, right? So I don't know. Even if the push had failed, I guess he would have lost all of his queens, which would have really hurt his larva. But point is, that didn't happen. Now, PengWin, you know, they're chatting up in the lobby saying the PengWin thinks it's an unbeatable build, totally overpowered. It is pretty strong, not gonna lie.
Yeah, we're seeing people not have a great time with it.
Yeah, but Redhorn apparently had used the exact same build to beat No Regrets yesterday or something like that. So he wasn't doing it just willy-nilly, like, I don't know what I'm doing, of course. He actually had a plan. And on that map, a tank push like that does make sense.
I'm being a silly Billy right now.
Yeah, he wasn't just like, this is going to be great. Everyone's going to see me. Nah, he really did intend to, well, demolish PengWin with that push. I wonder if, like, a base trade would have gone better. Oh, well.
Well, either way, we'll see PengWin not pull off something so cheeky this game. This is not a great map for it. Although I will say, I do favor the idea of doing drops at some point. And I'm not saying it has to be your opener with like 8 lings hoping to get SCV kills early. But the same way, like, Warp Prisms can be a pain in the ass to clean up. Lings are a really cheap investment, and dropping like an Overlord full of lings at any point in the game could definitely be beneficial. It all just comes down to like catching your opponent off guard.
Yeah. Remember back when they first introduced Overlord drops, and then we got, you know, totally wrecked by it at Red Bull, and everyone was doing it all the time, every time.
Yeah, well, that why you gotta bring up the Red Bull thing, man? I'm so sore about that. Damn.
Why I gotta bring that up? Yeah, but then after that, there's like, okay, I swear, in the last month, Overlord drops have really come back in a style. But before that, I was like, I wonder if anyone's gonna use Overlord drops again. And then boom, everyone thinks of like all these like crazy, stupid all-ins and great harassment, and it just looks so difficult for Protoss especially, but obviously Terran too, to a degree.
Well, the Reaper gonna get a link kill to start's not bad. Oh, Mr. Boris Makarov has a giveaway to do apparently. Let me go confirm that with him real quick.
Very good. Very good then. So the Reaper, let me check here, did not see the lair, but the SCV is keeping tabs on lack of a 3rd base. So 2 base lair is not unpopular on Dusk Towers, especially with the rise of Liberator builds of any type on this map too. But a Nidus Worm is also not out of the question, as we saw Soul Key do it, or try to do it anyways. He does scan and see the lair. Lucky. Between, you know, main and natural.
Okay, so Mr. Boris Makarov has a CD key for Legacy of the Void to raffle away. We'll get one of those going a little bit after this series concludes, probably during the downtime when we start running the Ting ads between series. So that's cool because I love doing giveaways. Thank you, Mr. Boris Makarov, who has given away, I'd say, a good several, probably $100 worth of game giveaways in the last couple of months. So you know it's legit, guys. Thank you, Mr. Boris Makarov. Now, some Hellions coming to front base. This is like the thing of nightmares for PengWin. It's like,
oh god, no.
You get that like horror music. Like in the background.
Yeah, he's going 2 base lair, which like so often I think they fall down to Hellions with trying to be a little greedy, especially since you figure you have the ramp to cover with queens. But what's more important than Hellions is the follow-up of a fusion core and a liberator. So I did mention that these builds are common on Dusk Towers, and that's why something like 2 base spires also come back into play here. Amongst other reasons, but in this particular game, this is actually going to be the most important reason to get a Spire. This is actually going to get shut down really hard, and, well, Redhorn's got to think of something else. Doesn't mean he's going to lose the game. This isn't like a hard counter like GG bro, but it's something that, the Liberator range probably is going to help you.
No, but he went Spire. So, I mean, first off, it's PengWin, so not surprised to see the Spire, but the Spire will help deal with the Liberators a lot more than just sitting there dying slowly and hoping to get ravaged out eventually, and then dying slower. The Ling's going to finally clean up these Hellions, hopefully. PengWin not splitting them, unfortunately, does just kind of send them all to the chase. The Queen's doing a pretty good job getting that damage in there, and I don't know, this hasn't gotten too far out of hand yet. 2 Hellions are still dangerous, though. He doesn't have a Queen in the main. The mutas are popping just in time.
Yep. So he's going to lose 1 or 2 drones here. 2 drones.
So that wasn't too bad for PengWin. Like, that really, when we started throwing away a lot of Lings into it, I did have a moment going like, oh no, PengWin, not like this, man. Not like this. But okay, he's good. He's good. Deep breaths, everybody. And the fact that the Mutalisks were revealed are going to send that Liberator back home. Now, it's still worth investing into the advanced ballistics. The range on the Liberator is definitely a good thing, and you're going to see more Liberators as the game progresses. So it's not a bad thing at all to keep this investment going.
Unfortunately, it's not going to help in the mid game that much, unless he's going to play a very different style. Usually, they'll come out after your first or second push because they're anticipating Ultralisk. In which case, yeah, that range is going to be great. But another Liberator's on the way just because he has such low production that you just need anything you can to make sure the mutas don't fly around and start picking off your reactors and the SCVs, and the Minister isn't quite covering all that type of stuff. And this has delayed his Marine push quite a bit by going for this build. I mean, his economy's not bad at 3rd CC, but he's not going to have a very good push.
I'm going to shout out this new sub we just got, but I feel like I can't say this name without sounding British. Crasher.
Crasher.
Crasher. Crasher! Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the Base Rate TV family. Make sure to take advantage of those emotes, and if you guys haven't already, give them some Tasia claps in chat. Now, I'm thinking with... It's not... I mean, like... Overlord speed's going to be necessary, more so that for Overseers at this point than the actual Overlords, but I would love to see some Zergling drops at some point come down. But PengWin is doing what is, in my opinion, the hardest style to play right now in TvZ, specifically because of Legacy of the Void, and that is Mutalisk Zergling Baneling. Now, the question really is, where does he go with this? Oh, first off, if he gets a starport, that's insane. Okay, he'll be driven off by the Liberators, oh, or not. But the point of this being, we see a style of this sort of type that focuses heavily on this style. The other version of this is like less about the mutas, a decent amount of banelings at best, in fact usually almost low to none, and then quicker hives, moving on to hive tech. I think everyone just pretty much realized baneling splash damage is great, but Ultralisk tusks are better. And we just, again, we're seeing a lot of like lower tier Terrans struggle with ultras in the first place. A lot of people just really having that problem getting that ghost control under their forte. Almost eat someone mine. So for PengWin, I am curious if he plans to stick on banelings or if he'll be advancing to hive tech as quick as he can.
I think advancing to hive tech as quick as he can is the right choice in this particular game because of the build openers that they both went for. As I said, Redhorrn delaying his push, it affects the game greatly. You only have like 1, 2, 2.5, I guess, pushes, and then that can either be chosen to go for like. What?
Oh, what's that Ron Swanson saying? Like a man gets to cry 3 times in his life, like once as a baby, once when he's married, and like
yeah.
I don't remember the third, but
yeah,
it's like the same thing for Terran. Like, yeah, you got the early game push, you get the mid game push, and just before the Ultra Scavern's done, and that's it. And then after that, you're just fighting for your life.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is true. So you either choose to like do drops or you try to do like a direct push. It's up to you, but you really only have those amounts of pushes, and this being a little bit weaker is not great, right? Combat Shields and Stim are going to finish up with each other to get 2 tech labs to of course make up for that timing on Stim, but that's only 1 medevac, even though the Marine count's kind of nice. There's no splash in it right now, even like not even in Marauders. I guess the Widowmines went to the main to try and do something, but only got 2 drone kills.
I had a good chunk of the Lings. Thank you to Bob Zor, as well as I would prefer not to for subbing and then, or for resubbing and then subbing. We had crazy sub action today. This is crazy. Like, thank you guys.
The cat's trying to kill himself.
Oh.
He's eating thumbtacks.
Apollo, stop it.
Ah, Jesus.
Was I right? It's Apollo that does that, right?
Of course, yes.
It's crazy caster cat. I just realized this is something that occurred to me just now. There's almost no medevacs in play. He did go pretty heavy on the Liberator production. Splits aren't too bad, and PengWin's fighting off of creeps. This is not going to go too preferable for the Terran player no matter what happened, but he did trade decently effective with PengWin. I was going to say that the lack of medevacs is kind of astounding because not only are you not doing drops, but you don't have that healing for the army.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to, again, those Liberators that he had to make after he realized that the Liberator build itself wasn't going to work. Now it's starting to go to a better count, but of course now Penguin's already onto an Ultralisk Cavern.
Yeah.
He's been able to get here pretty easily. This is probably the last push you're going to have if we have to deal with Ultras with plating. And it's not too strong of a push. Again, that there's not a whole lot of splash in here. Only have, 3 Widow Mines.
Yeah, the upgrades are even too, so it's like sometimes you'll see this Terran push with 2-2 versus 1-1. There's still about 30 seconds left on it. The fact that PengWin is dead even on upgrades makes this really difficult on Redhorrn. His best bet at this point, you come in with a lot of Marines and Widow Mines, you can lay down a good fight, but you're probably going to want to pick up and just start dropping as the end result. And the reason he can't do that, unfortunately, is those damn Mutalisks. We've gotten away with it too if it weren't for you pesky kids.
Yep. The splits have to be good, and they weren't really, because the Marines are going forward. This is the ideal situation that you have like 4 or 5 Marauders going forward for the Marines to soak up a lot of Banelings. So this is so far not a terrible hold for PengWin, not like a difficult hold.
His supply, 5 Ultras are on the way. I mean, as long as he doesn't give away everything right here in one instant, which he won't, then he'd be fine. The Mutalisks clean up majority of what's left. In fact, we'll clean up everything that's left. A few Marines is not that scary. Especially as they extend past their medevac support. Oh no.
Yeah. So he picks up. He does have a 4th base, which is really nice. That it's already made and turned into a planetary right now. But his supply is way too far down. He is not ready for the Ultralisk.
No, this is going to be we'll call it sticky situation, I guess. If the Marauder count was high coming into this, if there was tanks, if there was Sim City at least, you're like, okay, you can defend this. But unfortunately, Redhorrn is kind of just stuck on really basic units. And a setup that is, again, tailored really for Mutalisks and Banelings, not so much for that late tech. Not for Ultras, not for Infestors, not for Vipers. Especially, hell no, if there's Broodlords in play.
Yeah. If he had another minute or two, he would have Liberators with range, and that's where that early game would actually help him out a little bit. But unfortunately, he did attempt that push, and it went quite poorly, so I don't know if he really has another minute or two.
I mean, he's moving towards Ghosts now, and that medevac. Oh, you're not dropping. Excuse me, madam. Quite. Goodbye. The Ghost Academy's on the way, but you're right. Like, I really don't think he has the minute or two that he needs to actually get this in play. Medevac's boosting away for dear life. Widow Mines might get a couple good shots on... Nah, unfortunately, just the Lings.
Yeah. Not too helpful. There's still a lot of Banelings as well that won't be targeted by these Liberators. Oh, dear God.
SimCity, though, not going to matter if the Banelings go off on everything nonetheless. The planetary does fall, and the Mutalisk count is still kind of out of control. Thor's on the way, but it's not going to be here. And these Ultras are just chewing through the Marines. Good game. Well played. Mind Sanity's PengWin will take the first best of 3 today.
Woohoo!
And smoothly.
Going to face